What is up, y'all? We are back with Raw Roundtable, episode number 4. We done made it to episode 4. Like, I don't know about y'all. I'm just gonna give a round of applause because it's easy to just get weary and well doing, even when it seems like it's the start of something. But let's just thank God for trusting the process. Trusting the process. And I've been having a time, actually. I've been having a time doing this. But yeah, first I want to give thanks to everyone who's been tuning in, everyone who's been giving feedback, everyone's just been in support of our roundtable and what we're all about. Like, y'all don't have to do it, but you do, and to hear from you guys that you guys enjoy this and you enjoy being here, hearing the things that I talk about. I don't take that stuff lightly. I don't. For you guys who don't know, I am a words affirmation person to the T. Like, to the T. I think God is actually having me lean more into action in the season of my life. But I like, your words will never leave me. So whether you're saying something to harm me, whether you're saying something, I'm just joke. Like, you can ask anybody that's close to me. Words stick with me for a lifetime, and I remember who they came from, when the moment was, especially when I feel that I'm in need of it most. And as I've shared in my first episodes and all of that good stuff, I struggle with even starting this because of just the confidence levels, not knowing how I'm going to sound. Like, should I even do this? Do you even have the voice for this? And I know that sounds weird, but it's like, for somebody to listen to you without seeing you and like actually being present and there with you, it's like, will somebody even listen? You start to question those things, but we thank God for being who He is and how He's just been exposing me to people, just the people who've come across Raw Roundtable that have followed. It's like, at times it's like, like, I don't know what you're doing through this, what the exposure is going to be, and how you're going to do it, but I do believe that God is truly doing something through this platform. So yeah, shout out to him per usual. But this episode, we're not going to waste any time here. Something that's been heavy on my heart and sharing with you guys for a little bit of time now, but I kind of wanted to wait. And it's just prefaced, like, it's come up over and over again for me, because it's a part of me, and that thing is empathy. And I know empathy can be seen, first, I want to differentiate empathy and sympathy. Sympathy, I actually watched a really cool video on this. My aunt sent this to me. And it's more so like looking at somebody where they are, asking questions like, are you okay? Are you like that? Whereas empathy is choosing to get down with somebody in something, asking questions of how. I feel like the more who, what, where, when, why, how questions, not so you gotta get in somebody's business, but just to simply come to a place of relating, of making that person feel seen, heard. And so I would say that's the difference of that. Like, yeah, sympathy, I feel sorry for you. I hate that happened to you. But empathy is more so like you went through that and I had a similar experience, and you're not the only one who that happened to, and so you don't have to feel ashamed, like validating. I feel like, yeah, empathy comes with a lot of validating. And so, yeah, I want to talk about that because that is something that I feel is a natural part of who Kiana is. But this hasn't been something that I've always been confident in or aware of. Because, for one, with my own insecurities, my own thought process, I never see myself as like, wow, you're just a person that's really able to understand and see people for who they are, where they are. I was always just trying to fit in. So when we look at that route, it's like, of course you're going to accept anybody. Of course you're going to listen to anybody. Like, why not? You just want to be accepted. You just want to let people know, like, hey, I'm a great person. Like, you're not doing this because, I mean, you're doing it because it's who you are, but you aren't moving in it because it's who you are. You're doing it from a place of insecurity versus security in yourself. And so, ooh, that was good. That was good. You're doing it from a place of insecurity and not security in yourself or in him. So, yeah, that was that. But I've recognized that empathy has so many different facets to it. And so, I mean, a common one, we see people, I mean, we talk about God here. If you don't know that by now, then Yeah, but I grew up in church my whole life, and so we see many times people go through stuff. Yeah, you feel bad for them. You're like, oh, that's sad, and like stuff like that is like, I feel like during those moments I implored. I think that's what I'm looking for. More sympathy, because I was in a place of first being younger, so I mean, I hadn't been through much of nothing. And so, you say you feel sorry and you want to listen, you want to understand, but at the end of the day, I'll never be able to truly say, I know exactly what you're experiencing, or I want to walk with you through this, because I don't even know how to walk. I didn't even know this could happen to somebody. And so that was a whole different realization for me, like in growing up, because I recognize that relationship takes empathy no matter what, whether you experience something or you don't experience something in somebody's life. So I feel like that was a learning curve for me, and I truly begin to, but I don't want to miss and skip over the fact that I've always had a heart to want to know and do more when I hear things that happen in people's life, whether it be about sensitive information like abuse or anything like that. I've always wanted to do more, but it's like, what do you do? Like, you haven't been through it. You're not in an attempt to wallow in it or get pulled down or sucked into it, allowing the spirit to come on you and overtake you. But in a sense, you also don't want to see that person stay there. So I've always had the heart of empathy. It's just, how do I explain that, or how do I exemplify that this is who I am, this is what I'm actually trying to portray and give off. And so I would say, as I continue to grow in my relationships with people, I found myself with still wanting acceptance, but not too much, because this was more of my high school years, that when I had friends who had different lifestyles, or lifestyles that were like, I'll go this far, but I'm not going that far, it was like I still was willing to try to see where they were coming from. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Like, why do you want to get that high? You want to take another shot? Okay, I got some questions here. Like, I'm willing to try to see, like, what are you going through? Like, I don't want to do something just because, like, to make my story seem like yours, but I'm really trying to understand. And so I think the older I grew, and even though as I still grow older, I just became more inquisitive about people I encountered, and I never seen it as a problem. I never viewed it as something that was bad or wasn't good, or I never really understood the defects of it, of what could happen when you get information overload. I know that's something that we talk about a lot in social work, because it comes compassion fatigue, burnout, all those types of things that can come with the oversharing of stories and life experiences that can ultimately like burn you out, or can ultimately cause you to feel a weight of something that's not even really yours, which is empathy in a sense, but not when it overtakes you, and now therefore you're struggling with something that you intended to help somebody get out of. And so I never recognized the dangers in it and how much I was exposed to. Like, yeah, it was good for that person. It's like, whew, I got that out. You're like a very easy person to talk to. And that's great to hear. Like, it amplifies me. Like, turn me up, turn me up. Like, I love being that person that people feel safe around, that people feel like I can be myself around. Like, I can speak my mind and know that no judgment is going to be passed here. She may not believe or value the way I'm saying it, or like even value the same things that I'm saying right now, but she's willing to listen. Like, I don't feel like what I'm saying is going in one ear and out the other. And even if it is, she's not giving off that. I enjoy being that person, but that being that person comes with a lot of risk. And I never recognized that until I was around people who understood the risk better than I did, or seen the effect that it had on me despite me not really seeing it. Very often, and I mean, in some sense, I still do, because I like, at the end of the day, I want people to be understood and heard. That's something that I've lacked in myself, in my own life, which I spoke about, like not being almost seemingly like ignored, overlooked. And I never want another person to feel like that. So yeah, I'm going to vouch for people almost every single time. Like, don't do too much with them. Don't do too much. Like, or I'm gonna bring you into it. Like, you were once this, you were once that. And I don't like to be that person, but I never like to see another person be put down for a situation they're in, even if they got themselves there. I get sometimes people get themselves in sticky situations and stuff, but me personally, I don't like seeing it done. In general, I feel like there's a way to go about things, to address things, and it's never to make yourself seem bigger and better than whom you're talking to or talking about. So when I got around those people, I feel that seeing those effects on me, I was like, I denied a lot, like, no, you just don't get it, you don't understand. While maybe part of that was true, another part of what they were saying was true as well. A lot of what people were going through, what I was trying to get in with people, wasn't even my the wasn't even my problem to be getting into to begin with. And so, not seeing it like that, if I'm trying to get in everybody's problems, ultimately what's going to happen to me? Like, Kiana's going to be extinct. If I'm trying to be everybody else and have everybody else in my life and I have a part of everybody else, that's almost the same thing or equal to soul ties. It's like I'm tying myself to everybody's issues and problems, but it's not even mine to deal with. I didn't even have to go through that, but I chose to get down in there. And so I learned it's really about being selective and attentive to how much you're giving in those situations. So whereas at one point I was giving everything, like, tell me your whole life story. I mean, from when your mom wasn't there anymore, when if you were abused, like, if you got removed, if you had to go to child, like, I want to know the whole story. Like, tell me, because I wanted to know, and not to just be nosy, but I wanted that person to feel like, hey, she sees me. Like, she sees me. I don't want to know to go talk mess. I don't. If that's one thing people know about me, I never want to know more to talk mess about somebody. I only want to know more to see you better. And I couldn't always convey that, because, I mean, in some people's eyes, in other people's eyes, it's just like you're just literally being walked over. And I didn't look at it like that, because my heart was just pure in the simple fact, like, hey, I'm helping people, or I'm making people feel better. Like, wow, I want to do this. And so, despite times where I may have been being walked over, I never seen it as that. I never viewed it as that. My heart would never turn to the fact that they're betraying. Like, I don't know. And it's still hard at times for me to grasp that perspective. Like, seeing people from the point of view that that person doesn't want what's best for me, or that person isn't valuing me the way that I think they are, or valuing what I'm even doing right now the way I think they are. Those things never cross my mind. And I guess that's a place where I can be thankful to God that I don't hold grudges, or I don't hold people to a standard to respond a certain way. Like, what I do is simply from my heart. And I can confidently say that about me, because I know that about me. It's from my heart. I have no ill will, impure motives, or motives that are just self-serving. I truly want to impact the hearts of others positively. Like, for his kingdom, like, I want to do that for others. I don't want to do it for me. And so, I don't know, I just feel like I get that out. But I also learned that through that, even in knowing the boundaries that come with it, I learned that some people just aren't graced with the gift of empathy. They aren't. Like, they aren't. Some people just don't have the ability to get down in something with somebody else, because, I mean, ultimately it's because of pride. Like, nobody has ever wanted to, I don't know many people who want to sell themselves short and get down low just to be low for fun. Like, nobody wants to do that. But the thing is, we have to do that. And I mean, and let me not say you have to do it, but you have to do it if your goal and if your goal and purpose is to mimic Christ or to exemplify Christ to others. You should want to get down with others. You should want to remember the same grace and mercy that was extended towards you. I mean, you should. You shouldn't look at people who come in the church doors and be like, well, they had this on, or they looked like that. And then like, when people walk through doors like that, for me personally, things going through my head is like, I didn't even look like that, but I was probably doing exactly what they were doing. I was probably just as high as they were. Like, there's things in my life that I look back and remember, and I'm like, I have no room to say nothing about nothing. Nothing about nobody. So the most that I can do is understand and make efforts to see where that person is. So therefore, I cannot take it on from myself, because as I said, when people pointed out the effect that it was having on me, it made me self-reflect. Like, so it's not for me to go and see what's going on so I can take it upon myself, but it's for me to go and see what's going on so I can take it to God for them. And of course, them wanting it for themselves, but it's not for me to change people. It's not for me to get people out of hard places. It's for God to deliver them out. I can try to get them out, but the best way to be brought out, that I remember being brought out, is through him convicting my heart, him telling me, like, hey, like, this is not gonna suffice for long, or hey, I have better for it. Like, I have better for you. This ain't it. This ain't it. I'm just picturing Jesus saying, this ain't it. So that's why that's so funny to me. Anyways, but I remember him saying and speaking those things to me. And so for him to do it for me, I did all of a sudden lose belief that he can do that same thing for them. But it's still my job to draw them in with love. And I think that's the key word in empathy: love. This is like a great segue. I want to actually read Colossians 3. I feel like I quoted Colossians 3 in another one of my videos. I don't remember which one. But, when I was talking about being hidden in Christ. I remember. But I want to speak about this scripture. Colossians 3 verse 12 through 14. And so it reads, since God chose you to be the holy people he loves, you must clothe yourselves with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Make allowance for each other's faults. It's that for me. I'm gonna be real. It's that for me. And forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. I believe that scripture, like, if those verses do nothing else, I literally feel like it speaks empathy. Like, from even the things that we should put on: tenderhearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience. All those things I feel like take empathy. Picture going through the most traumatic experience of your life, and for somebody to come up to you. I'm gonna give first scenario. Somebody come up to you and be like, girl, what's wrong? Why you scream like that? Or why you take that out of proportion like that? Like, you're doing too much. Versus going through your traumatic experience, somebody coming up to you saying, I don't know why you scream like that, but it was very alarming and I want to know if you're okay. First, notice tone. Tone is big. Tone is real big. Real big for me. Let me say real big for me. It might not be for everybody else. It's big for me. How you talk to me is how I'm going to receive. But pitch first, notice the tone, the gentleness in the tone. And even that person following and saying something like, I know you might not be ready, or you still might need to regulate, or you still might need to come down, but whenever you're ready, I'm here if you want to talk. That patience. Like, it's the empathy for me. It's literally the empathy for me. The kindness, the fact they even came up to you, thought to be concerned, and even asked questions that the other person didn't even care to ask. They were concerned about the noise. They weren't even concerned why you made the noise, why you were that loud, or why the noise even startled you. It could have been a dishwasher starting, and it could have brought back memories that they don't even know about. And so it's all about the questions you ask. That mercy, like knowing that I may have not been through what that person's been through, or I have, or it's been a totally different situation, but I still needed that same mercy that this person probably needs. So let me extend it. Yeah, it kind of scared me, but let me just say, like, it's fine. Let me extend that mercy. Because people seeing that you want to extend mercy, that you want to extend grace to an extent where maybe they haven't been seen or heard or even looked at in a way that something may be startling me, something may be extremely traumatic to me. I may be suffering with PTSD. Like, for people to not ever encounter that, when they do encounter it, they don't forget it. Like, people often, and I don't want to say this cockily, that sounds weird. I don't want to say this in any cocky manner, but people often comment on the way people receive me or want to be around me. And I promise you, the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head that I can say is consistent with all people is the way I approach and the way I communicate with people. I never shut someone down. I never blow people off as what they're saying is not important. That's just something that I don't do. It could probably be the most blasphemous and like, what in the world thing? Why would you even say that? Or that didn't really make a lot of sense. But I'm not going to be like, that did not make no sense. I'm going to be like, do you care to explain another way? Or I'm going to ask questions. One thing about me, I'm going to ask questions, and I'm going to try to do them in a way that does not offend. And the way that I do that, for anybody who's like, okay, maybe how do I do this? And this is not a self-help video, but I would say one thing I always say to people is talk to other people. I guess it's the common saying, treat other people how you want to be treated. But literally, when you're thinking about saying something to somebody, think about what I want this said to me. What I want people to talk to me like this. What I want people to come to me in all sideways. Would I want somebody coming to me like that? And if the answer is no, you probably shouldn't say it. You probably shouldn't approach anybody like that. You might say in the moment, well, I don't care if somebody comes to me. I'll just ignore them. But in all honesty, how would you want somebody to come to you in order for you to respond? And respond not with smartness, not with attitude, not with sassiness, like who you talking to, but to respond in a way that's cordial, that's humanistic, like be for real. And so I would just say that's one thing that people can confidently say about me. So when people wonder, like, why people are drawn to me, I literally can only say that's the piece of Christ that I know for certain I carry. If I've been able to find anything else that I'm like Christ or that I can confidently say, it's the way that I'm able to hear people out. Jesus never, to my knowledge, dismissed people. Even the most blasphemous people, I never heard that Jesus just walked and turned away out of somebody's face. He heard them. If it wasn't what he agreed with, he didn't yell at them. The only time Jesus got crazy is when he was flipping them tables over. And that's because they was doing blasphemous stuff. Don't use the house of prayer for that. But Jesus responded the same, always, with the same attitude is what I'm saying. It might have not looked the same every single time, but he responded the same. And that's why he's so holy, because he's consistent in who he is. And so as believers, we should strive to be consistent in who we are. And our consistency, we shouldn't want to be a mean, cold-hearted person. Who really likes to hear those things about themselves? Who really likes to hear that oh, she doesn't care about anything or she doesn't care about anybody. Nobody likes to hear those things about themselves. Most times when people are speaking good of you, that you're loyal, that you care, that you're kind, that you hear them out, those things make you feel good. Most people like to hear those things. And so that's what we should strive for. And that's in every situation. Because something that I also learned is that empathy is not just for somebody who's struggling with something traumatic that happened to them. It's also recognizing that the very people that may leave a bad taste in my mouth, that I don't really like their attitude. I don't like how they approach other people. And so now I'm feeling some type of way, like what are you doing? Why are you talking to them like that? So now I'm feeling the type of way. I still have to have empathy for those people, because people don't respond like that just because. Because if we're made in his image and his likeness, we were created to be like him. And so the only thing that comes to taint us is sin, things that weren't supposed to be, but came to be because of Adam and Eve. And so things happen to us that turn us into these people that respond in ways that aren't really humanistic, that don't really give off, I care. No matter how people try to frame it or how they try to word it, there's a way that we can speak to one another. I'm not saying it's one size fits all, but there's a way that we can speak to people and be appropriate, still getting our point across without raising our voices, without saying demeaning things or putting it in a way, labeling people and doing these things. There's a way to say things and do things, but we just have to want to be more intentional in the way we do things. And so, as I said, we must want to be consistent in our nature, because the very people that leave a bad taste in my mouth by the way they respond, I have to be willing to say, if they want to talk about something, if they want to get something off their chest, that could be the very thing that frees them and allow them to recognize that, hey, I've been treating people poorly, or I've been going off on people and they didn't even deserve that. Just my willingness to listen, my willingness to sit and be tenderhearted, show tenderhearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. My willingness to do that can be the very thing that frees that person. And so, yes, have I learned that my empathy can sometimes overtake me? Yes, I've said it a couple times in this video. It has overtaken me. I have felt extremely down in things that, like I said, I haven't even experienced personally. But because I'm willing to get so deep down, it has that ability to overtake me. But something that I'm asking God constantly is to not change my heart, in that my desire to understand people and hear people where they are. I don't want him to change that, but I do want him to teach me an awareness of the boundaries of protecting myself from the deception of the enemy trying to get in my own mind, my own heart. And so one thing that I really want you guys to take away from this video is that, I know I overall talked about empathy, but with it being a big part of who I am, I want anybody who watches this video to do soul searching, to really ask God, to really have that heart's desire to know, what is my thing that I know is innately me, that is innately who you created me to be, that I know I mirror you in, that I know that this is your heart. Like, I know that this is coming from a pure place right now. Like, we know he's pure and he's holy. Like, you know it's coming from a pure place. Ask him to show you that thing. Show him how it's not only helping, because I do think we can get caught up in, well, I'm like this and I'm helpful and I just want to understand, and not also ask him the things of, how is this very thing hurting me too? How is this very thing like getting me in a place that's not even where you want me, or that's hindering me from where you want to take me? We got to ask those questions too, because God also will show us those things. And so, for my empathetic people out there, I am here with you. I'm here for you. And if you're an empathetic person, please comment. Please speak about it. And even if you're not, please comment. Like, I want to know more. I don't even think I've yet to encounter someone. I have, because I do find people like that is as empathetic as me. But there are people out there who aren't, who desire to grow and learn more. And that's where we partner with our brothers and sisters in Christ to exemplify and show the way that Jesus wants to love. Everybody has a piece of Christ that everybody has a piece of Christ that can rub off on somebody else. And so ask God to show you that strength and even show you where it may be a weakness, and that he would work it all together for your good, all together for your good. And even meditate on that scripture, Colossians 3, 12 through 14. Meditate on that, because I believe in meditating, it'll become a part of our nature when we even think to speak and do things in a way that might bring somebody down. We'll remember, like, I gotta be humble. I gotta show mercy. I gotta be gentle. I gotta be a little more patient. We'll remember that. It'll be in our mind because we've meditated on it so much. And so I know that's what I'm gonna do. Even after this video, I'm going to meditate on that, because I don't want it to be snatched away from me, so that I can be in environments where empathy may not be as strong. And I never want something that God uniquely placed inside of me to be snatched away out of me because of trying to fit in and conform. I want to be who God called me to be, because I know that I'm needed. I know that who he made me to be is needed. And so, yeah. So I don't ever want to shapeshift to fit somebody else's idea of what I should be, but I always want to be what he wants me to be. But I want to be it purely, and I want to be it in the right way, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's this episode. So I hope you guys got something from it. Please comment down below and let me know your thoughts. I'm not asking, like, give me a review in the comments, but let me know your thoughts. Just like, what thoughts are rummaging through your head with even hearing all of this. Like, we're here to be ready and willing to share. Like, there's earthly perspective to this. The simple fact that sometimes I do think I care too much, but then it's like there's a place and a time for everything. And I have to lean into him. I have to lean into that heavenly perspective to say, okay, God, am I caring too much, or am I not caring enough? Or am I in the right place despite what other people around me are saying? And so that's up to me to be sensitive to that. And so, yeah, let me know. And once again, I want to thank you guys for watching and tuning in. It doesn't go unnoticed. I care about each and every one of you guys. That's in each and every one of you guys that watch these videos. I really do. And so until the next video, I will see you guys